Hey guys, Wolf Tycho here. I wanted to say something real quickly before we jump into the podcast episode. Mainly because I'm going to have a little bit of a disclaimer. As you can tell, we talk about Pokemon Legends ZA in this episode, because of the Pokemon Presents. And I'm also very sick. I've been extremely sick for the last 3 days. So my brain isn't, quite working all the way. And so, I can tell, at least when watching, even though I'm sick. And I mean, media just in general, in my opinion, you can't consume it the same way when you're sick, so I'm trying my best to understand how I'm feeling from the trailer and explain it through words, because that's what the podcast is. As you can tell by me having to, film a disclaimer, though, I don't think it went well. At least for, the first 50 minutes. I think I made some really weird, arguments for why I still think I feel the way I do generally. I just don't agree with the reasoning, so keep that in mind. Hopefully next week I'm no longer sick and my brain is actually functioning. It's 11:22 p.m. right now. I got a bunch of schoolwork to catch up on because I haven't been in school for 3 days, and I got a bunch of other stuff. So hopefully next week my brain's, working. And that's why I can tell my brain's not working correctly, because I'm doing my schoolwork and I'm like, I can't freaking do this. My brain's not working. Why the hell do I do the podcast? Thinking oh yeah, I can do this. So hopefully next week I can have, my actual opinions and take this episode more as entertainment value of us attempting to have opinions on ZA. I still agree on a good number of my opinions. You'll see when I'm talking about when I do it. Okay, so let's jump into the episode. I hope you guys enjoy it. Hello everyone, welcome to the Hints of Hisui podcast. I'm Wolf Tyke, and I'm here with Nurse Ethy and Tomix9Tomix.
Hello.
Yeah, today is an exciting episode because we are recording this the same night as, well, I guess not for Tom. For me and Ethy, and I guess Ethy fell asleep, so really only me. I'm recording this at the same time that I was awake as the Pokemon Presents. But, so yeah, Pokemon Legends ZA didn't get announced. It was announced a freaking year ago already. But we got the first trailer, the first look at the gameplay, and what the game would actually look like. And I guess, was all that wait, was all that hype worth it? I guess we're here to talk about that. And I'm gonna start off with my opinion just because I feel like my opinion is gonna drive the conversation a lot, because I feel like Ethy and Tom will have very middling opinions, where I have a very passionate opinion. Which, Ethy's already kind of aware, because he did a stream reacting to it and I was in his chat. And, so he knows a little bit of what I think.
Yep. So go ahead and dim the lights, get your popcorn, get ready, because Wolf's got a freaking slideshow. He's ready.
Oh, I got a slideshow. And don't worry, if you're not going to watch the podcast, you're not going to miss anything if you don't see the slideshow. It's just a visual to help aid as I talk about it and to help, keep my thoughts in order. But yeah, I think to, have my thoughts, I have, two camps when it comes to the game, two different opinions. It's I have two wolves inside of me.
You have two of yourself inside of you?
Do you not know that meme? Two wolves?
No, it's just
I'm
making
making
back
the
in
joke
name.
because your name is Wolf.
I know, I forgot about that. But yeah, I guess there's two different me's that has opinions on this, but the first one, and this is what most people will probably care about more, the gameplay. And this is what I've heard most people talk mostly positive about, and I mostly agree, mainly with the real-time battles. Well, not exactly real-time, but at least real-time adjacent battle system, especially with, getting rid of turn-based combat.
Yeah, instead it's like a charged type thing, which is very interesting.
Very interesting. And that is probably what I'm most excited for the game, and I think looks really cool and really interesting. and I love that part about it. I love the like mechanics that they brought over from Legends Arceus, and I love that they're doing more with the Legends brand than just doing stuff away in the distant past and just repeating Legends Arceus but with a different region, because I don't know, I find that more creative and more unique. So those are the positives. That's like the angel on my shoulder, okay? That's what, like, most people will probably think that's the stuff that matters more, but as I've kind of already talked about, what I like the most about Kalos is, like, the aesthetic, like, the visuals and the feel of the region. I've mentioned that before on the podcast, right? I think I mentioned that last episode. Yeah. Well, if not, that's what I like most about Kalos. And I guess that transitions now into my slideshow on my thoughts on the aesthetics of Pokemon Legends ZA. As told by Wolf Tycho.
Let me pull up the slideshow.
Yes, this. Oh, we're gonna be able to see. Oh, okay, this will be.
Yeah, you're gonna be able to see it.
Oh, mercy.
So, let's start off this journey, this path, by looking into the past, because I think to understand what my problem is, I need to illustrate, and also, of course, I have the big YouTube clickbait red arrow. But I need
it. This big circle.
True, I'm missing big circle. Should have done it on this dude's belly button. But yeah, to mainly illustrate, because I was thinking about this, about what could be rubbing me the wrong way, because at first when I saw the trailer for ZA, I honestly, like, felt mostly positive about it and didn't have any complaints, but as I was going back through it, there was just something that felt off about it to me, and the more and more I looked into it, the more, like, it felt weird to me, and the more I started, like, disliking kind of the aesthetics, and that's when I noticed kind of a pattern that's been happening with the Pokemon world and games in general as of late since Sword and Shield. They have been moving from worlds and characters that are more fantasy character, like, especially when it comes to design, like, it's not bound by fashion sense or, like, architecture akin to our modern real world. Look at the sundial in Kalos, or just in general, like, fashion of Kalos. Like, I wouldn't really call it modern. Same with, like, Unova, I guess, is somewhat, but not in the way that it transitions into modern, which we start to see in Sword and Shield, where when I say it transitions a bit more modern, it, like, Pokemon since Sword and Shield and, like, Scarlet and Violet starts to feel a little bit like the same feeling as, like, gritty Brooklyn. I don't know how else to phrase it.
Can we stop on this point for a bit? Because I do disagree quite strongly about, like, the whole point in general.
Go ahead.
Well, so if we're talking about, like, I do get what you mean as in terms of the concept for change from something more whimsical to something more realistic, as I understand. That's what I kind of see what you're saying, at least. And I would say, if anything, it's kind of been the opposite. If we're going to games pre-X and Y, or even pre-Black and White, they've all been very grounded in reality. I mean, for Red and Blue, Gold and Silver, Ruby and Sapphire, they're pretty much just places in Japan, with the exception of places like Fortree City, where it's like a cool city in the sky. But
there's also
ever
Pokemon
since
Tower with, like, ghosts.
I mean, like,
literal,
cemeteries
like,
exist
of...
everywhere.
Yeah, but, like, there aren't literal ghosts of, like, Marowak and, like,
but in
stuff
terms
like
of, like,
that.
the design of the place, it is just still a
True.
cemetery, except some kids now scared of ghosts. And some people do believe ghosts actually do exist, but that's a whole different debate.
True. I hadn't thought about pre-Kalos, and in fact, when I was making that point, I was thinking back, and I was like, that's true, that, like... But I feel like especially...
Well, I think ever since then, I think you're right. I think X and Y in particular do tend to get very whimsical with their design. A lot of buildings
Yes.
are over the top. A lot of cities are over the top in their design. But I would say
Definitely.
Sword and Shield is honestly kind of similar to that. If we're talking purely about aesthetics and not about how you interact with it, the
Yeah.
cities are all quite whimsical. I mean, especially the glow in the dark mushroom city. But not only that, you have the cool kind of rugged city built into the side of a mountain that has a mural explode. You have massive NASCAR lines across green hedges. And I feel like in that sense, Sword and Shield kind of keeps with the whimsical world design, especially if you consider the wild areas as well as the wild areas in the main game, but as well as the DLC where they're supposed to be like a RPG landscape that you're exploring.
A little bit. But
And then
especially
moving
like,
on, go on.
okay. Well, especially like the transition to modernity I see in like almost like gritty Brooklyn, which I keep going back to, is like when I look at like character designs and like it just starts to become more and more regular clothing.
I mean, I do feel like especially for the protagonist, that they've always kind of been just a regular guy with like in their what they would wear on a regular day. Especially looking at like, especially the earlier game, like I'm thinking from a much older point of view of like, I look at red and gold, and I just see a guy in his t-shirt and jeans and a kind of cool looking jacket.
Yeah. But
I
mainly
think
with like
it's.
So
Go on, Andy.
the comparison of colors to Galar, it's like you're bringing up like specific little instances of Galar being like fantastical, which I agree with. But like that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying it was like a switch overnight. It was completely modern. I don't believe that. I think it was like slowly growing to that Scarlet and Violet clearly being back more modern, realistic. There was still a little bit of fantasticalness to Galar, but I think it was about 50-50. I think that's fair to say.
Well, okay, not talking about Scarlet and Violet yet, but about Sword and Shield, I'd say I think they were designed with a similar kind of like theory. I think if you look at X and Y, each kind of town is designed against one aspect and then it's sort of played up. That town has a sundial, the sundial is played up. Another town has the Stonehenge is played up as something cool, as well as like hiding a secret weapon beneath it. But then I think you could say the same thing with Sword and Shield. Oh, it's a city in the jungle, let's put some cool mushrooms. Or it's a city in a farmland, let's put a sprawling field of like NASCAR lines. Oh, it's like a city that's supposed to be the capital, let's like really make it look really modern. And that's the most realistic city in the whole game. But even that still comes across as quite fantastical because of how
There are a
built up it
couple
looks.
realistic. There are a couple realistic cities. It's not just one in Galar.
Well, even the very first big city is like kind of played up to be a big steampunk kind of thing, and again, that kind of leads
Yeah,
into
but
a whole
that's still
fantasy.
very gritty Brooklyn aesthetic, in my mind.
I don't know if I think.
Like, it's not mythical.
Well, I wouldn't say it's like a fairy tale kind of aesthetic, but I think anyway you kind of go in Pokemon, it's more just about being non-realistic, more leading into some kind of fantasy. Maybe it's sci-fi, maybe it's more like a colorful fairy, like you get that weird pixie tree city in X and Y. Maybe. So I think there's different kinds of fantasies you can explore.
Which I'm not saying that, like, and this isn't me, like, bringing down Galar, it's just trying to, like, because there is clearly a different aesthetic between Galar and Kalos, and I feel like Paldea goes even further from that transition from Kalos into, like, Galar, in that, and I think the fantasy may have been the wrong word, more mythical, like, based, where, like, Kalos had a little bit more, like, that quality to it, versus, like, Galar, which felt, while yes, still being fantastical and like played up a little bit, was not like mythical fairy tale land-esque, and Paldea even less so. Minus Area Zero, but I don't really qualify Area Zero as like part of the region.
Well, before we get
Smack
on
dab
to
in the middle of the region.
yeah, because I think Area Zero is quite a big factor about Paldea's design and its overall aesthetic. But before we do that, just to quickly do fashion.
Because I'm not even at the Scarlet and Violet slide. There's a slide for that, so we can get to that.
About the fashion, I think Kalos and like Sword and Shield and onwards has been fairly aesthetic. At the end of the day, it's mostly just been kind of like I don't want to call it like high fashion, but sort of like played up fashion. But you could see most of the outfits in real life. If we're talking about designs like Lysander, where they have crazy spiky hair, we still see crazy haircuts in other recent games like Sword and Shield, like Scarlet and Violet. So I don't think much has changed with the character design, only how they're presented in the models themselves. And you don't have to like the new character designs. I mean, you can look at the Team Yell Punks.
I mean, I don't dislike them.
It's not a fun design, but I think it's still consistent with how Pokemon kind of does things.
But there still is a clear difference in how aesthetics between Galar and Kalos.
I mean,
like,
what
very
kind of
clear, like almost day and night.
Are you talking about like in the game or in the concepts of art?
Like, just concepts of the region. Like, they give very different feelings.
Yeah, I mean, every region is supposed to give a different feeling. I mean, one's France, one's England.
And I'm trying to, like...
But I don't think... I know you're talking about, like,
but...
the gritty Brooklyn kind of realistic, not mythical feel to it, but I don't think that really applies to... I don't think that's changed much.
I disagree. And then we go into the next slide. Now that
Does if you have anything you want to say before we move on? Because I think there's going to be a lot of discussion.
Yeah, definitely going to be a lot of discussion. I don't have too much. Like, I think I've said my piece.
Okay.
Okay. The Scarlet and Violet effect. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what effect I was gonna call, but we'll just use this slide to talk about Scarlet and Violet. And that progression in the transition into more modern Pokemon outside of X and Y. Because it does feel like they're trending towards a specific style as of late games. And, like, we have the image here of the protagonist. If you're not watching, it's a protagonist of the protagonist of X and Y column next to Gloria, which is protagonist of Sword and Shield, next to the Paldean protagonist. And I think it really highlights, to me, like, the Paldean protagonists do not look interesting. I'm sorry, they don't.
Because they're stuck in ugly school uniforms. Of course they don't.
Yeah. I mean...
Okay.
You can keep on going, Andy, but I think most people will agree that Paldean character designs were kind of a miss. And not only in the like original designs, but even when you get the chance to dress them up, you don't get that much customability.
No.
Mm-hmm.
The best thing you can do is put a Daft Punk helmet on them and call it a day.
Yeah.
But like, and overall especially, like, they really try to, like, with their presentation and their execution of stuff, they were trying to make it look more realistic. That is just, I mean, something we've even talked about, like, starting with Sword and Shield is when we started getting full-body character models of characters. Scarlet and Violet, they started playing around trying to do more realistic textures. Keyword trying. And she can...
We had full-body models back in Sun and Moon.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, X and Y was full
I
body. They were
blanked-
just
You can
chibi.
almost argue X
I-
and Y itself,
Nah,
but
that's chibi.
you can argue it.
It's still a full body, but it's just not good looking.
No, it's not.
Humanly
No.
proportioned full body character models. There you go.
Okay, we can agree on
But-
that one. We can agree on that. Yeah.
Which, yes, Sun and Moon did start that, but it is still...
And they were still able to make it look kind of good.
Kinda. But it was still in a very cartoonish aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like... And they've been, like, treading away from that in recent generations. Trying to
I
make
think
it
that-
look... Which
I
isn't
think,
a
like-
bad thing, I'm just saying it's, like,
Mm.
a matter-of-fact thing. That is what they've been doing. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that's good or bad, it's just they've been making it more and more realistic. And in turn, that can make characters end up looking more and more boring, but that's neither here nor there. I think it
But I
can
think,
be
I think
done
those two
well.
things are unrelated.
I'm not relating them, I somewhat am, whatever.
Well, you are. You said in turn that can make them
Yes.
look more boring, and I think that's untrue.
It can.
Well, no, I don't think it can. I think they come from two different reasons.
Okay. But yeah, that's the progression with Scarlet and Violet.
Oh, well, no, let's go back to the Scarlet and
No,
Violet
we'll go
slide.
back to Scarlet and Violet?
Okay. So, I mean, tying the Scarlet and Violet to what you said about, like, the changes in aesthetic, I think you're right. I think the main world of Scarlet and Violet is quite boring. I think they didn't do anything too interesting with the open world. Even the towns, some of them have, like, interesting aspects, but they're not really that iconic, they're not that memorable, they're not that mind-blowing. And I think that's something most people who have played Scarlet and Violet feel quite strongly. But I think if we're talking about, like, the change, I don't think it's a departure from the overall, like, idea or the theory that the designers behind Pokemon think about. Because if you look at Area Zero, it's designed to be like a grand contrast. I mean, Area Zero is as mystical as fantasy as Pokemon has ever been. We've got like a crater that represents a different time, the bottom of the Earth, and the area changes from like these weird trees going deep underground to these caverns where there's a giant lab at the bottom and all the Pokemon look weird and messed up. And then also in the DLC for Scarlet and Violet, you have a whole terrarium island, as well as a little island that represents like Japanese folklore. I think Scarlet and Violet can be quite whimsical, and parts that are not the main open world show that the designers still know how to do that, and it's not something they're actively trying to departure from. It's just that they failed when designing the main world.
I agree. I think they're definitely still trying to they're trying to do a weird mix of both, which definitely isn't a bad thing, but it's definitely we know that it's not everybody's cup of tea, that they're trying to balance both. Some people are going to want more in one direction than the other, and some of that's just having to deal with the stupid Pokemon community. Like, nobody will make up their mind. No one can just be happy we're getting a game this year.
I mean, I'd
Except
rather
for
the
Chitrine
game be
fans.
good, but...
But see, if we get a game, they're having to balance so many different things, and they've put themselves in a corner. And the Pokemon companies essentially shot themselves in the foot, and the fans we flip-flop so much on, oh, we love having a new game every year, but then why aren't the games good? Why are they this? Why are they that? Why can't we have this, that, and another? Well, it's because you're so addicted to having a new game every year, and you still end up buying it and drooling all over it too. So
I mean, that's every fandom, though, Ethan. That's not unique to the Pokemon
Every
fandom.
year.
Every fandom doesn't know what they want.
every
They don't
year.
understand how creatives work.
Well, that's also true, but every year except last year.
Thank God.
Like, we have gotten a new mainline series game every year since 2014, I believe.
Yeah.
Whenever Sun and
Or
Moon
20
was.
like
Sun and Moon was 2016. No, it was before that. X and Y, I think, was the start of every year. Either that or ORS.
Sun and Moon took 2 years.
Oh, then it was 2016.
That's why it was so good.
Sun and Moon was not good. Anyways, next slide. And that culminates into character designs. Because I believe that, like, the character designs in ZA match a lot more with what I was talking about with what they were transitioning into than what Kalos was. And also, side point, I don't know why no one has mentioned this, the lime green on the protagonist's jacket look butt ugly.
I think it's fine. Black and lime green
Terrible.
goes well together.
Like, awful. I don't know why they put... I know why they put lime green on their outfits. It's to match the green of the game in Zygarde, similar to the blue and red of XY, but it looks terrible.
I think it works. Black and lime green, you look
Yeah.
at Zygarde, it's a sick design, the color matches.
It works well on
Yeah.
Zygarde, it does not work well on their clothes.
I guess that's just a opinion thing.
yeah.
And also, whatever pattern is going on both of the guys' pants is a pattern.
Yeah, it's a pattern.
It's an interesting
know,
pattern.
I've seen clothes with all kinds of weird patterns and shapes and whatever, so I just kind of accept, okay, this is what we're doing today.
Just looks a bit weird to me.
I wouldn't say, I don't think it contrasts with the Kalos designs that much. Obviously, they're a bit different in just their general design and also body proportions, but I think both of them come across as somewhat realistic.
Yeah.
Exactly, they come off as realistic.
Both of them. Kalos too.
Yeah.
Less so.
Like, these aren't Honkai Star Rail outfits with
No,
weird
duh,
asymmetrical
but
belts.
it's still, like...
I'd say, if anything, like, AZ male protagonist is much more unrealistic than XY male protagonist. XY male protagonist is like, I'd see every bloke with that kind of outfit.
No, but there's a difference between realistic and modern.
Like, what do you mean by modern? Because, like, if we talk about 2012 when X and Y came out, I'd say that outfit's modern for that time.
Yeah, and this... Oh, God. But I'm saying, because the clothing is fitting modern now, it doesn't fit in with the colors of 2012.
So?
Okay, well, it's not 2012 anymore.
That's fashion from 13 years ago. Like, I look at fashion from 20 years ago when I was in middle school, and I see what we were wearing back then, and I'm just like, who thought it was a good idea to wear plaid and stripes in the same outfit? Why did people do that? Why did we agree that that was just cute and fun and people enjoyed that? Fashion evolves. And while there's always going to be the nostalgia pendulum where, like, I dread the day that like the 2000s era fashion comes back, but I know that it will. But it just sorry. It's a time that haunts me. I apologize. But like, yeah, it's like that's closer to what we would have seen back in 2013.
And
That's
honestly,
not a bad thing.
I feel like you can still see them nowadays
Yeah, you
Callum
still
and
could.
Serena.
Yeah. But they're not like modern clothing that looks like it's trying to be modern.
Right, but back in 2012 it probably did.
I would argue it kind of was for 2012.
I will say I really like the belts on the new protagonists. I hadn't noticed them in the presents, but I like the belts.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, I've been looking at them like that's interesting, especially because they are red and blue. Like
I guess like the X and Y
Back onto
colors.
the red and
Feel
blue.
tall.
So my idea, I was tinkering around, because I freaking hate the green of the jackets, about how to make it better. Because the thing is, I feel like partially why I don't like it, I don't think green couldn't work in an outfit set. I think there are too many colors in the designs of the protagonists.
I
because-
think you can make an argument for that. Yeah.
The male protagonist, he has a white
guess.
shirt, black pants, a blue belt, red shoes, black sleeves with a black hat. Then the girl protagonist, white hat with a red trim, with a white shirt, with a red belt, with a blue pants, with green and black jacket. Like, it just doesn't, the colors don't mesh well together because it's just too many different colors. And so my idea, where I was tinkering around to fix it, I don't know if it's better or not. I personally like it better, giving the guy a blue jacket and the girl a red jacket to match their belts, and I feel like it's a lot more of a cohesive design.
Yeah, I think that does look nice.
And then I realized, was my problem with the fantasy, was that any of the problem, or is the problem just I don't like the character designs and I'm trying to find...
I think, yeah. I think the fantasy thing doesn't make sense.
I think I'm somewhat onto something. Somewhat. Mainly when I get into city stuff, but I think partially that's why when I think of Kalos, I don't think of Limio City, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
While we're looking out for character designs, I just want to say I'm really interested, like, why the rival character has the same haircut as the, like, male counterparts, including the female counterpart that we can't see here.
I have an idea, but...
Oh my god, I didn't even realize that.
But it's like a different color, right? I'm wondering if...
Oh, there's definitely a reason, especially the patterns on the pants both kind of... They're not the exact same pattern, but they're similar in, like, in the male pants, like, you can kind of see two arrows there.
What does the female rival pants look like?
I guess I'll move on to the next slide, because she's on the next slide.
Oh.
And it was mainly to show there are character designs I don't like. But then...
Yeah, I think that's it.
Oh, wait, nope. Here we go. There are still character designs I like. AZ I'm mixed on, but I just didn't want to put him in the character designs I don't like category, because I'm at least mixed. But, like, the girl character, I like her design. And I feel like she fits in Kalos, where, like, with these jackets, they fit a bit more into Kalos. The male friend rival, he just... I hate his design. It's nothing. And it's not like a... I don't know. It just looks so boring to me and just normal. Like, I feel like I could literally, like, walk down the street and find a guy that is wearing basically that outfit of white sweats, blue shirt with some, like, design, and then just, like, a brown jacket over top of that.
Cade.
Yeah, basically.
He said that in my chat. I want to make sure that's clear. He has said that he said that he would wear something similar in my chat. I'm gonna find it so I can make sure that I'm not like I'm not dunking on him. I'm just
But yeah, the girl pants. I think more what's similar is the belt. There's like a circular circle and
It's
then
got like
like
a
two
matching
things on
belt.
the side. It's not exact, but there's a little bit of a similarity there. AZ, I like the idea for the costume. I just not the costume, the suit. It almost it looks like a costume. Mainly because I don't like the color choices.
Yeah, I think
It looks like a pumpkin
mostly
man.
agree. I think the AZ character design, I really like it. I think it also looks great in the in-game model, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of it.
I think my understanding of like how this Frankenstein design is, I can't guarantee where he got the shoes from. I can't like I don't know anything about his shoes, but at least the rest of his outfit kind of looks like takes a lot of inspiration from his original outfit in X and Y. And with him being what 8 feet tall or something, 8, 9, I don't know how, 9+ feet or 3+ meters. My man's gonna have a hard time finding clothes that fit him at 3 meters. So the fact that it's Frankenstein with some of his older clothes to kind of make it fit is definitely it's interesting to me.
I really hope that's why
like
it is that way, because that's a cool reason.
I'm hoping that's why, but we just gotta kind of wait and see until we know for sure. But
yeah, it's interesting. I like it. Don't like the color choices they went with, but mainly because it makes him look like a pumpkin man. But that's neither here nor there. What?
I was not expecting you to call him a pumpkin man.
I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. Those are pumpkin colors.
Pumpkin man isn't even a real thing, Andy. Pumpkin men don't exist.
He can't. The pumpkin man can't hurt you.
I'm seeing him right here, though. He's a part of my new Kalos game.
What do you think the hair color means, Andy? I'm curious.
Was his hair color not originally white?
No, I mean for the rival, sorry.
Oh, the rival.
Yeah, because you mentioned how they're similar, how Urbane and Tawny's hair look really similar to our protagonist's hair.
Yeah. I'm thinking they look so similar because they're either gonna do like a Slowpoke Shack, they're the player from another time, or they're gonna be the player from another dimension. Either that
Dimension
or
could be
Descendant. I've heard that theory too. And especially
they're ripping off fan games again.
I know. Well, especially because Zygarde is the legendary Pokemon of Order, so I think, I mean, there wouldn't be much order around if there are two of the same people at the same, like, place and time. So there could be a thing around that. And I think that would be a lot more interesting than whatever plot's gonna come out of these wacky-ass rich people.
Well, maybe they're the same plot. Maybe these wacky-ass rich people have invented dimension travel and Zygarde's unhappy.
Maybe. But let's just talk about the designs of these wacky-ass rich people. Because,
we have to.
I really like the man. I know Andy's gonna say he hates it and he thinks it's objectively bad, but I really dig, like, the... I don't know what he is.
I like the suit.
What about his
like
hairpins and his face?
I'm fine with the face. I despise, like, the sideburns, but then, like, the taper cut.
Well, it's for Lysander sideburns, right?
Okay.
Or maybe that's taking too much of a stretch.
Again, a fade. He has a fade of his hair so that he has, like, no hair and then just these heavy sideburns.
I dig it. I really like
it. It looks stupid. And then, what the hell is even on his head? It's just a bunch of...
That's what I want to know.
I see, like, a Pancham head, a Baneri.
Baneri?
Oh! I finally understand it. So, his hair is up in a man bun, and it's clipped up by, like, 3 different Pokemon head pins. One being
It's cute.
Baneri, one being Pancham. It's so hard to tell what it is.
Not really.
Yeah, I can find, like, I have not seen this art that you're using, so this is me finally understanding what's going on here.
Yeah, it took me, like, 7 times, like, looking at it to finally understand, oh, that's what that is. At first I thought it was a new Pokemon that was on his head. Sadly, no. But then we have, the girl named Jet on the right, who, me and Kay described her in Ethy's chat as Hillary Clinton mixed together with the Karen stereotype.
I can see that.
I spent a good 2 minutes just going back and watching how her hair works, like, in the game. I laughed the entire time. I'm just...
They both look so stupid. And,
I like
also,
it. I mean, I think they're good designs.
their designs.
I do like Miss Jet's design. Vinny... I'm not as big of a fan of Vinny.
Is his
Oh,
name
I'm not a
Vinny
fan of
Vinesauce?
His name
I
is
wish
Vinny.
it was.
But
For the sake of everything, we're going to say yes.
He's green as well.
especially-
He matches the colors.
well, especially, I'm not a fan of Ways Artico, just because they're giving me heavy macrocosmos vibes, and like not much different vibes outside of that. Like they don't feel like they have an identity yet. Like they don't feel unique, especially when we've seen so many high-tech. I mean, Macrocosmos wasn't that high-tech, and they are, so they're a little different in that respect, but then I'm like, well, so was Aether Foundation, and Aether Foundation also had the white color scheme that all their buildings seem to have.
So was Team Flare.
Team Flare was... Team Flare was all red, first of all. Like, red and black. Not
No,
white.
but you get what I mean.
And
not,
also...
not the color scheme, but the tech stuff.
Text. I'd say it was like a different style of tech stuff compared to, like, Macrocosmos and what seems to be Quasartico. Especially Quasartico seems to be a lot more involved in the plot than Team Flare, similar to how Macrocosmos was. And based off of how they did Macrocosmos, I don't see them doing well with Quasartico.
Well-
That one I'm willing to see, and I know you're a fan of Rose, Tom. We don't need to get into that
No,
debate.
I'm just gonna say, I think for Macrocosmos, I think that was more of an exception of Pokemon kind of flopping spectacularly with how they did their evil team just because they waited so long for them to actually do anything. In this game, it seems like they're going to be a lot more involved in the plot, and I think we'll get a lot more time to
Maybe.
get to know them. And I think when we play the game, they actually will have quite an identity. If you really think about it, the Team Galactic Ginka Guild, or whatever it's called from Legends Arceus, that's also a tech company. But they very much build up their own personality. It felt very
Yeah.
memorable. And so I think
But they also-
Game Freak still has it. They can still make it work. It's not like they're fucked up ever since they did Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
They also aesthetically looked a lot different, though, than Ginkgo Guild. Where Quasartico
Right, I mean-
doesn't look as different aesthetically, in my opinion.
I think from what we see right now, I'd agree. Hopefully we get
Yeah.
to see some more. I think we'll see like some, I don't know. But yeah.
And that's, yeah, my main thing, especially when it comes to, like, mainly my problems with ZA so far is aesthetics.
But I will say, for the character designs, I think you not liking them is mostly just a personal opinion thing and not some sort of...
I think the green jacket thing is just bad design thing, but okay. But no one agrees with me, but I just look at it and I go, this just looks like bad character design. Like,
So I've had this on my screen. I'm colorblind, so to me it looks fine. But the color teal doesn't exist to me also, so take my thoughts when it comes to color with a grain of salt.
What's the next? I don't even remember what the next line is. I had it all memorized, but you guys have taken me like completely off track. Oh, the endgame city. On the right, I have a screenshot of Lumio City. Also, I'm sorry if this is like the most unwatchable podcast without being able to see the visuals. I'm trying my
Can't you edit
best.
them in?
I am, but if nobody's watching
No.
it, then I'm sorry. But it's just easier to illustrate my point with pictures. So, this was the best solution I could come up with. On the right, I have a picture of a screenshot from the trailer of Lumio City, which in my opinion gives off more of a feeling of the screenshot from the left, which is from Sword and Shield, than the screenshot of X and Y of Lumio City. If you see what I mean. Like, obviously, it's still Lumio City on the right. I can see the buildings and the architecture. But there's something about it that feels more similar vibe-wise to the left, to the Sword and Shield image.
I think that's just mostly to do with how they do the models. In my opinion, at least from what I'm seeing, like if I don't know what city this is, but I think it's the first big city, or maybe it's the inside of a station, where you can see like the grey brickwork that sort of represents that city or the train stations. And on the right, you have the very white, tall, windowed buildings that you see in Lumio City when you're walking around in X and Y. I mean, another big thing about Lumio City is its like physical design of being a circle, just like France, and all the lines that go in and out, and the alleyways and all intersecting at junctions. I mean, that still seems to be here in AZ, and I think that will make it feel very familiar.
But yeah, my final thoughts. Out of these 4 character designs we have, which are the seemingly main characters,
Yeah.
I only like one of the designs of the 4. Which is not a good percentage. That's 25%. That's a failing grade. And I think, like, I have also seen, like, even though I haven't, oh my god, I've said seen so many times, I haven't seen that much hate towards the other 3 designs. I haven't seen as much love for it as Tawny. Like, huh?
Tawny. Yeah.
Tawny, yeah. Like, I've seen a lot of people like the design for Tawny. I've heard mostly disinterest when it comes to the other 3 designs.
I'll take your word for it, because
I also
I've
looked
been
up
asleep.
fan art and tried to see what had the most fan art, and it was easily Tawny. I think there was one of the male rival and none
No
of the
shit.
protagonists.
I mean, she's obviously like the most like typically attractive character and female.
Mm-hmm.
The female protagonist is also female.
Well, I said most typically attractive. If we're going like typically attractive, I think the man is quite attractive, but the protagonist man, he looks very Sycamore and he inherits the daddy vibes, but that's not going to get you as much fan art.
I do like... The only part I don't like about the male protagonist designs is the weird knee pattern on his pants and the green on his jacket. And the green on his jacket isn't inherently bad, it's just like how it's incorporated in the design and how many other colors there are on it. And it just feels... It feels like he randomly, like, chose, like, different parts from his wardrobe and went, alright, let's throw this together into an outfit. Without any, like, sense of what would work well with what.
I kind of get the point about like too many colors, but otherwise I disagree. But at the end of the day, it's just character design. Some people are gonna like them, some people are gonna hate them.
Yeah, overall, my thoughts when I was making this presentation was not my colors. See you at lunch. Thank you.
Well, there we go.
All right.
Yeah, that was my presentation.
This has been a very different episode so far.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I almost wonder if this could have been like, no, we've had a good back and forth conversation where I wouldn't have wanted this to be a solo. This could have been a solo, but I'm glad that it wasn't.
I'm glad it wasn't
because
either,
now
because
you
then Andy would
guys
have been able
can
to talk
shit on me.
non-stop about bullshit.
Sure. Just like you talk non-stop about bullshit when it comes to Miltank, or your weird, like, liking of the character of Rose. Or you'll just go on about some weird things that we can't talk about on the podcast anymore. That's what will happen if you get a solo episode, so I don't want to hear it.
You know, I'm just saying, I've been like the voice of reason this episode. We've had this angry Pokemon fan going on about bullshit, creating fake little monologues about how Pokemon is changing its design, it's become more realistic and gritty like Brooklyn. I've been here trying to bring us back into a realistic time, making everyone realize that's bullshit, okay?
And I'm still trying to wake up. And I'm just kind of sitting here, yeah, okay.
I'm just trying to...
Like, I'm trying to feel what you're putting out, but there's a lot of like, there's a good chunk of it that I'm just not seeing as clearly.
I'm just trying to warn you guys about like the horror that is going to be the Pumpkin Man.
Yeah,
Yep.
I genuinely do fear the Pumpkin Man.
He is going to come and
But
take our children and kill them. Clearly.
Yeah.
Okay, but I hate children, so I'm kind of okay with that. Take the children, kill them, take them away.
Ouch.
Poor Andy.
They're gonna go after the smaller children first.
Yeah, but you know without children, Pokemon Abstract never would have been made. Hey, Abstract mention! I was able to sneak it in there.
Oh my god.
You know, without children, the Pokemon Company would not be able to make a profit.
Also that.
Also true. That's the part that I'm gonna... Yeah, that's true.
Here we are. Nearly all grown men fucking arguing over a kid's toy.
Yep.
You know it.
Wouldn't be a fandom without him.
I still stand by that it does feel aesthetically different from the Colors of X and Y. Mainly that presentation was me showing my mindset as I was going through trying to understand why. I still don't entirely get why, because it's hard to quantify in words what can mostly just be like, it's just vibes.
Well, I think, and I kind of want to, like, I feel like it was leading into this a bit, but like you were talking about with, like, saying it feels more realistic, I don't think it feels more realistic, but I'm guessing it's going to feel more sci-fi than Kalos, which is going to make sense because it's set in the future. But
Not the future, it's more just like a sequel.
We don't really know yet, do we?
No, all we know is that
Guess
it
not.
definitely takes place after X and Y because we've got AZ and his Floette, and his Floette has essentially abandoned him ever since his actions during the war, and we see that Floette finally forgives him at the end of X and Y, so...
Well, we also don't know that it's gonna necessarily be, like, future.
What we did see, though, was, like, they're building new tech, is, like, the whole idea. They're trying to build new tech to make Pokemon get along with the people better. There's some weird thing about, like,
also
teleporting on
doesn't
top
make
of
sense to me.
rooftops.
Like, making it go, like, making it better for Pokemon and people to coexist. I'm like, they weren't coexisting fine before?
Yeah, but different regions have different versions of what coexisting looks like.
It could also be that that's, like, the evil team's fake plan, like in Team Plasma.
Okay, well, if it's a fake plan, that's a really weird fake plan, and how would people not see through it and be like, wait, that makes no sense?
Well, people didn't see through Team Plasma or fucking Archie and Maxie being like, I want more ocean, I want more land.
Or Team Plasma. Yes, let's give the evil team our Pokemon.
Yeah.
But they're also still keeping theirs.
You're right, you deserve it more than me. Take my Pokemon.
Yeah. So this isn't me saying that the people of the Pokemon world are gullible.
Sorry, 1 second, I gotta deal with something.
Uh-oh.
If you went on the Pokemon fan game Blue Sky feed on Pokemon Day 7 PM CST, you will know why I'm panicking.
Is it the one talking about like furry porn? Because I did see that.
No.
Oh, okay, never mind, man.
Let's go outside. Yep, Evie found it. Evie found it. 1 second. I have to deal with something. We're not gonna talk about it. We're not gonna talk about it. We're not gonna talk about it. Alright, there.
That's
They're
interesting.
banned.
I'm gonna take a picture of this.
I'm putting this so that Kate can see it.
I also like... Anyway, we should move on quickly, but yeah.
Yes, we should.
Oh.
I'm interested to see how it goes, but I would like to see them get like quite sci-fi with it. I think that could be a fun way to explore it.
I don't. Because that's not Kalos. It's like, what if we take the one cool thing that was about Kalos and get rid of it? And I go, no. Why? Like, that was the one thing I liked about the Kalos region. And then they went, alright, we're gonna make a new Kalos game. Alright,
Well,
we're gonna get rid of the one thing you liked about it. Why?
From what we've seen, what have they gotten rid of from Kalos that you don't like, except for the character designs?
Well, specifically, if you're saying the story is about making Lumiose more futuristic looking.
Well, I'm
more
hoping.
sci-fi.
That's my personal hope, but we haven't seen that yet.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying I hope they don't do that, because if so, that will be my reaction. Other than that I haven't liked... I mean, it's just because there is sci-fi stuff that I'm like, this doesn't fit into, like, what I like about Kalos. Look at the, even the Pokemon Center looks a bit too sci-fi-y to me, or a little bit too much, not entirely. More so, the gates to the wild zones look so out of place. Like the hologram green gates.
That's what I think is like tied to the sci-fi tech company. But I mean,
Lumiose
City has always been about tech. Like, it's where Lysander is. He's a tech company. It's where they have the
but it's not a
Lumiose
city.
Tower.
It's not a city built like around tech. It's not like this sci-fi utopia.
It's literally built around a giant metal tower, which is like a symbolic of progress in technology.
So is New York City. I wouldn't call that like a fucking sci-fi city.
No, but it's about like progress, right? And I would say, I don't know, if you're talking about the Empire State Building, then I would say the Empire State Building is a sign of technology and progress for when it was made.
Well, yeah,
Same
but
with
I'm just
Eiffel
saying,
Tower, a massive
like-
achievement in terms of like what's doable.
like a freaking hologram gate.
Well, let's just take that further. Like, Lumiose City in particular was never like big, oh, no tech, fantasy land.
Well, no, and that's why I like Lumiose in general, and I said this earlier, Lumiose is one of my least favorite places in Kalos. It's one of the most forgettable. To me.
Well, then I think hopefully this game will make Lumiose City more memorable for you.
Yeah.
Maybe. And like, the main time when I went and started having a problem with it, when I still thought this was in the past, I was totally fine with this aesthetic. Because I feel like this aesthetic, like what the game looks like, could fit like a past Kalos, not like a distant past Kalos, but like an industrial revolution almost Kalos, if that makes sense. Like, that's what, like, the game more feels like to me. It doesn't feel like present-day Kalos. Like, I guess it still technically does. It feels more like Kalos than any other region, but it doesn't feel like the same Kalos as last time we saw it.
It's like Lumio City, but with what seems to be more tech. How does it not feel like present-day Kalos?
That's what I'm saying. It's hard to describe. It's more vibes. I tried to explain in words, and you went
unreasonable.
I tried to explain in words, and then you went, "No, that makes no freaking sense. Try again." And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, your words did not make sense. You just said it doesn't feel like the future.
I tried to come up with the fantasy angle, and you were like, "No, that makes no sense." And I'm like,
that also doesn't make
but
sense.
I don't know.
I've already debunked that one.
Exactly. And so that's why I'm like, It just doesn't.
There we are.
And I don't know why you, like, are, like, arguing against me like this is some popular opinion. I am, like, the only person who is having this problem. I also...
Of course
like,
I'm arguing against you, because there's no one else to argue against. Like, I'm not going to just sit here and not talk to you.
Well, you should ignore me, Tom. That's,
okay, I'm just going to leave this podcast. I'll go get ready for work. Have fun, Andy.
Yep.
That's a joke.
Yeah, I know.
I'm trying to find the name of the thing that it's called. Because, like, that's a lot of the whole thing with ZA is the Lumios something project?
Like, renovation project? Something
Yeah.
like that? Yeah, I know.
So it makes sense that they're going to want to put more tech into the city and futurize it.
Okay, just because
There's
that's...
even
Well,
some, like,
even though there's a reason, it doesn't mean I have to like that they're doing that. It's like more of an excuse to do it than like... Like, yes, there's a reason, but they're still doing it, so I still have the problem of you're still... Just because... Like, if in Star Wars, they made Luke Skywalker kill someone, even if they gave a really good reason, it still wouldn't feel right. It's like, well, there's a reason to it, okay, but that, I still, like, it's a problem of, like, yes, there could be, like, good execution, but I still have a problem with the fundamental idea.
Fair.
And I feel like it's just not playing to Kalos' strengths, and it's more making it... It feels more like a plotline that would happen in something like a Sword and Shield sequel versus a Kalos sequel.
So what in your mind would a Kalos sequel have looked like if it was not this?
Probably, and I mean, we don't know if they're not going to go into this, but probably I would explore the lore and history of Mega Evolution and delve into that. I would probably keep the same, like, gameplay mechanics, because like I said, I like the gameplay mechanics. I would have a visual style, not exactly like Let's Go, but style, like, in the way of, like, it's stylized, not realistic looking. Just because that style doesn't fit well with what Kalos' strengths are, in my opinion. Trying to remember the name of... It's been a while since
I found it. The urban redevelopment plan for Lumio City.
Yeah. But yeah, just like an exploration on probably the lore of the Pokémon, not of Mega Evolution, probably expanding on the communities that are in Kalos and the locations and focusing more on that. And also probably then not limiting it down to just one city. Because even though that's an interesting way to make the game more different for Pokemon, it really limits down the amount of unique locations that Kalos has.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I'm curious how they're gonna do like the world if it really is just the city.
Mm-hmm. And
Especially
like,
because Kalos does have like very interest in other cities. So
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, like I said, I'd probably expand on the communities and characters and make it more focused around that because that's probably the weakest part of Kalos at the moment. So the way to win people over more on Kalos is to give characters and communities and like stuff around that like more life in Kalos. And I think that could be an interesting exploration past that. Like expanding on the future while looking back into the past of Kalos is how I would go about handling it. But,
I'm hoping that like each sector of Lumio City will have kind of like a different vibe or different kind of community in each sector, but I guess we'll see what happens.
I mean, we do know because they gave us like concept art for like the overall Lumio City, which also gave us our first look for the new Hex Maniac, which Maz, you're gonna love if you're watching this podcast. I just realized nobody's gonna get that joke except for Maz. So Maz, hi. I don't know.
Yeah, that like I'm just sitting here like, okay.
Lots of people are horny for
Hex.
Hexmaniac, though. It's a
I mean, yeah, but
yeah.
I just don't know what that like. Also, just haven't seen the new Hex.
Here,
or paid
I'll put it in
attention to the
Host General.
new Hex
It wasn't in the trailer, it was just in like the concept art that was on the website. But it's like a separate design of.
Oh, she's cute.
She looks a bit more kept together. But still
That's
clearly
saying
sleep
something for a
deprived.
Hexmaniac.
But I'll send the overall picture because it looks like each like sector, each like fourth has like a different color rooftop. Which it's such a difference, man. I'm telling you.
In X and Y, each sector was named after a color, so that makes sense.
Oh.
I dig that.
So, I'm trying to send the image, but Discord is not liking the image. 1 second. I'll copy the image address. Oh, I am not able to paste anything anymore into Discord. That's odd. I'll send
yeah,
it to
'cause
you guys
in-
eventually.
In X and
Yeah,
Y,
it looks
like
like in
each
the
sector had a
original-
name,
Yeah.
but they weren't that like distinct. Like some
No.
had like the Looker Bureau, some had like I don't know a Pokemon Center, some had a museum. But otherwise, they didn't feel like that distinct, that special. So hopefully, they have a bit more identity.
Oh, speaking of the Looker Bureau,
Yeah.
in the trailer, I think, yeah, we caught it, but people were like, oh, Looker's gonna show up, and after thinking about it, I'm like, Looker's not gonna show up. You know who would show
No.
up, though?
Emma,
Emma, yeah.
Emma.
which would be just as good. So hopefully, if not Emma, then like some ancestor of Emma or something.
Yeah.
Depending on how far in the future we are, but
It doesn't seem
Yeah.
to be that far in the future. It seems to be, like, the same time period as, like, a Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just unfortunately, we really can't know because bloody AZ is immortal and he's the only character we
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
True.
So it could literally be like 3,000 years, but we would not be able to tell yet.
The only
I don't
other
think it's so
thing that,
far.
like, slightly looked underwhelming to me is, and this is a fault I've had with Pokemon in general as of late. I'm just like, god damn, these characters, I'd love to be proven wrong. Like, this isn't, I did not go into this trailer being like, oh, I'm gonna hate this. I wanted to love it. I still want to love it, and I still do like a lot of parts of it. It's just this one thing that I think they really screwed up, in my opinion. What was I gonna say? I'm sorry, I tried to preface something to make it that, like, people wouldn't get mad at me, but I prefaced so hard that I forgot what I was gonna say.
You You can't ask the guy with ADHD.
You were leading into something. You said
Trying
like
to-
something about the characters or something.
Oh, now I remember.
You wanted to like it.
The characters, generally, I can really see them not really be characters. It kind of feels like they're all gonna kind of, like, Townie might have 0.5 part, like, maybe 0.5 points in, like, characterization. I don't know how else to phrase it. What's his name? The guy. Main? Not Main. His name's not Main. Urbane. There we go, Urbane. I think he's literally just gonna act the same as, like, Hop and How and that kind of character. Like, I don't think he's gonna be a character. I don't
They're
know.
already doing better than the X and Y rivals.
Okay. I've never defended them.
Good.
I
As
don't know.
no one should.
I don't know, guys. I think the protagonists of the game won't have any personality personally. Which,
Ooh,
What a
that's a hot
surprise.
take.
but like even Jet and, well, the problem is Jet and Vivian, if they are the villains, which I mean, let's be honest, they'll most likely be the villains. I know, shocker. It
Wait, who's Vivian?
is that not the guy's name?
Vinny.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, they're similar. But yeah, like, Vinny and Jet, they look like they may have personalities. The thing is, if they are the villains, they look like they won't be taken seriously. Which means they won't be intimidating threats.
I mean, just looking at that man's hair, I can't take him. I can't take a. If you show me that man, I will show you someone that I will look at and just question.
I
Also,
really hope.
apparently in Japanese, his name is Muscat. Muscat.
That's like what they call like the grapes, right? I mean, I maybe call it that in English too, but I don't eat grapes.
I don't know.
I know of muscadines.
They have like muscat grape flavor in Japan.
Oh, I see it now. Yeah.
But yeah, gameplay looks great. Story, I would love to be good, but I've been burned by Pokemon so many times that I am just looking for red flags. And I see things that they
we
have
just don't
done
know
before,
yet.
and I'm like,
I'm hoping for Vinny. This is just like my personal hope that they turn him into like a Kronk type from Emperor's New Groove.
Yes, I hope
He's just
so.
like a funny, goofy guy who is like quite big and looks kind of like he wants to be taken seriously, but is a goofy little fella.
maybe. I'm still sitting here, I'm like, I hope they change the protagonists, like, I hope they either change the protagonists, like, designs to make it not look like iBarf, or they give me good, like, ways to customize how the characters look, like, actually good ways, not the way they have
Hopefully,
been.
yeah.
Or
I mean, I
even
still
just,
disagree with you about the eye bath, but if I really hope we get good customization, especially because it is Callus.
yeah, I don't disagree about the iBarf, but that's also because that's my opinion. But, I mean, I see bits and pieces of potential, and I see bits and pieces of, especially like the screenshots we see of what the dialogue looks like. It's giving me Arceus flashbacks, which the dialogue of Arceus was so bad that me and my sibling had to stop playing it.
Maybe. Arceus, I feel like, I mean, just opinions versus opinions, but I was a fan of the Arceus story in general, and especially when, like, Pokemon has shown that they're quite bad with twist villains, because I guess it is designed for kids, but I think the twist villain in Arceus did make, it felt good, it kind of, like, felt natural that the dude was turning against you in the end. And I think the
Well-
story in general felt good.
There's also a difference between story and dialogue.
I guess so, but I think, like, I didn't feel the story get disrupted by the dialogue, so it can't have been that bad, for my personal opinion.
But, like, the dialogue in the screenshots to, like, talk about, like, what I'm talking about. Let's start with the basics. A Pokemon trainer is someone who battles with Pokemon. First of all, you don't need to tell us that in a Pokemon game. People know. Second of all, that just gives... I don't know. Like, literally anybody could say that. It doesn't give me any clues about, like, who they are as a person or their personality. What they think about anything. And then we have, Tawny.
I feel like they do have to say that. They say that in every single Pokemon game for a reason, and that's because it's going to be new 4-year-olds getting their first console and playing the game for the first time and being like, wow, Pokemon, wow, that's cool, they battle. And it's also just a nice introduction in the intro to the world. I mean, how many times have you played a fan game and they open up with a professor talking about, this is a Pokemon? It's because it's a nice introduction. I mean, not everybody likes it, but it does its job.
No, but again, the way it's said is so matter-of-factly, and it doesn't have any personality, or it doesn't clue into, like, who they are as characters. Literally anybody could say that.
Yeah, I agree. I think anybody could say that. But I don't think it's serving a purpose as a character. I think it's serving a purpose as just an intro to the game.
It should serve a purpose as a character, though. It should do both.
Maybe.
Dialogue can serve multiple purposes.
It can serve, but I don't think it has to.
That's what we call good writing. This next line, the dialogue isn't as bad. It's just so funny with the face that it's put with. Because it is put next to the most, like, stone face, neutral face I've ever seen in my life. Seriously? Oh, I'm so relieved I could almost cry. Like, the dialogue's honestly one of the better I've seen in Pokemon games. It's just so funny, because you're just seeing the most neutral face I've seen in my life.
Yeah, I feel pretty indifferent. Nothing to say.
I mean, other dialogue, it just... All the dialogue just feels like exposition of, like... The only one that doesn't is, like, the Tawny one. I like that. But, like, let's start with the basics. A Pokemon trainer is someone who's, like, battles a Pokemon. Or the other one, I am AZ, and as the owner of Hotel Z, I welcome you. Which, yes, this may just be, like, they're just cherry-picking the... like, monologue dialogue for the website. Like, not all the dialogue could be like this, but this is all we have to go off of. But, like, I am Vinny, and I serve as secretary to the CEO of Quasartico Incorporated. Like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see when the full game comes out. But I imagine this is just introductory dialogue.
Yeah, it gives me the same vibes as, like, this is Katana. You better be careful of her. Her soul traps the souls of her victims. Like, that's the vibes this, like, the dialogue kind of gives off of. Just, like, harsh, just, like, hand-holdy. Like, shove it down your throat. Like, these are the characters. Go. And I'm like, whoa. Okay. Can we talk like people, please? I don't know, I'm expecting too much out of Pokemon. Wait, no, they're taking baby steps.
Hey, in other news, I'm really excited for Legends EA. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Same here.
Really?
Yes! I am allowed to have reservations about something I'm looking forward to.
I know, it's just been 90% reservations.
Well, we said this before recording, and I think you left before I said it, but it's like, I do have a lot of positive opinions and feelings when it comes to things. It's just not as interesting to talk about them.
I think it can be fun to talk about what you like.
And
yeah. That's the whole basis of my channel.
I mean, that's what my streams are for. Go check out twitch.tv/WolfTaiko. I'm probably gonna stream this weekend. Very subtle plug, I know. But, like,
very shameless.
I don't know. I mean, it's just... Well, also, it's like, I have positive feelings towards it, but I just can't quantify them as much. It's more just like, I don't know, it's a college game. The battles, I mean, they're going the right direction. I just...
Yeah, let's talk about the battles. I'm really excited for the battles. I think the real-time change-up will be a good mix. I mean, I think a lot of people have just said for a long time, you know, Pokemon has stuck to the same battle formula for so long. Legends Arceus was like the tiniest mix-up we got.
Yeah.
And this is going to be something new, and maybe it's going to be crap. Maybe it's going to actually suck and not play well at all. But I'm just excited
maybe.
to see something different.
Yeah.
And then there was also, surprisingly, ZA was not the only thing talked about this Pokemon Presents.
Yeah, did you notice, Andy? They heard you out loud. Pokemon Concierge.
I know, they mentioned it,
They
after
really
us,
did.
complaining for 2 episodes how they've never mentioned it since its announcement. Literally, when I saw them talking about Pokemon Concierge, I was taken aback. I was like, we're mentioning this again?
Yeah,
I thought this was
wow,
Voldemort,
Andy
where
really
it's the
made
he
them
who must
get
not
out
be
from their
named.
seat.
Yeah, just fine, we'll talk about Concierge. Yeah, that was the very first thing they mentioned, which also, this was the first Pokemon Presents I was able to watch live. Mainly because I didn't go to school today, or the past 2 days, because I've been sick.
Oh.
You didn't know I
better.
was sick, Evie?
No, I've not been able to talk to you in the past several days, so I don't know what you've been up to.
Oh, yeah, I've been
I
sick.
just assumed you were snowed out again.
Oh, no. I mean, that's a fair assumption with how the things have been. I don't think I've had a single, 5 days in a row of school this entire corner. And the corner ends, next week.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
It'll be fine. Let's not think about all the schoolwork I have to catch up on. And, the whole group presentation that I that I miss basically every workday in class on. Sorry, group. But yeah, no, so I was able to watch it live, and that's why I was there for Ethy's stream. And also, if that's why I feel a bit weird, that may be why. I think it's a little bit because I'm coming off of being sick. I generally am looking forward to ZA, and I was mostly satisfied with the Presents. I mean, it was another Pokemon Presents. They talked about... What was after that? There was Pokemon Go. We talked about Pokemon Go. We talked about
Just
Masters.
every single side game got
Fuck
mentioned.
Pokemon Go.
Cafe Remix. Unite.
Sleep.
TCG Pocket.
TCG Physical.
Scarlet and Violet even got a mention in there. But, the main
Yeah.
thing that surprised me... I felt like the side stuff at the beginning didn't last that long. It kind of felt like they were speedrunning through it.
It really
Yeah.
did.
They always kind of speedrun it, but it really was yeah, let's do this. Okay, 10 seconds next.
Yeah. It was just
I don't
whoa.
mind, but
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't mind either. I was just taken aback.
What do you think about Pokemon Champions? Or whatever it's
Hey,
called.
no, we need to continue talking about the stuff that came before, but yes, we will talk about champions. Who's looking forward to the Pokemon Go tour? Alright, moving on.
Fuck Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Masters X.
If I haven't said it enough, fuck Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Masters EX, we got some new character outfit designs, which probably got leaked early like they always do. Which, I only care about Masters EX because I like some of the character designs of the alternate outfits, and I even use one of them in one of my Pokemon fan games.
Hell yeah.
Ethan, you would know, you played that fan game.
Mm-hmm. I definitely played Hito.
No, not Hito. It was... it was broken.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that.
Yeah,
just to
you
poke
need
at
a-
the fact
Yeah, I've given up that you're gonna play at this point. I'm just eh. If it happens, it happens. I mean...
Yeah.
But yeah, after Masters EX, which the character design, yeah, they've been better, but they're also not bad. It's cool that there's a character design based off of, I think it's the shiny forms of...
Yeah,
Kyogre,
shiny,
yeah,
it's the shiny-
Mega,
yeah,
and
The
Omega.
shiny of the
And Rayquaza.
primals.
Which is an interesting idea, but I don't think it looks bad. It's just not one of my favorite of the Masters designs.
No, but Masters
Oh, they have some
go
great
hard.
designs.
They slap.
They go hard. Damn.
Sexy Leon, oh my god.
Oh.
Yeah, we have Cafe Remix after that, where... And then we have Pokemon Sleep. Which
Very, very happy we finally got some.
Darkrai.
We're finally getting Darkrai in
Yeah.
Pokemon Sleep.
Which
I
just
don't
makes
play
sense.
Pokemon Sleep, but I'm excited
do I.
for. I'm excited for the like couple hundred Sleep players.
I'm excited for the plot potential because Pokemon Sleep has the most famous plot of all Pokemon.
I didn't know it had a plot.
It doesn't.
And he's
I was
being
joking.
sarcastic. I mean, it's a sleep
it's
recorder.
not,
It doesn't need
no.
a plot.
It doesn't. No, I just find it very funny because in my mind I'm like, you can easily like make a plot with like Darkrai being in it now, but obviously they're not because it's a freaking sleep app.
Yeah.
Pokemon Unite is
Yeah.
after that, which for the whole 2 people who play Unite who watch this podcast, I hope you're happy. And I know exactly
One.
which 2. Well, Gus sometimes watches. Sometimes.
Very rarely. Like we have to like explicitly shake them and say, "Watch this episode."
True. But yeah, I think
But it's interesting we're getting a Alolan Raichu.
yeah, the 3 Pokemon that are going to be added to Unite are Suicune, Alolan Raichu, and Alcremie. Suicune arriving in March 1st, which they've apparently known forever now. Alolan Raichu is joining in April, and Alcremie eventually. Alcremie is
Eventually.
Alcremie is an interesting pick for the game, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing about how things go with Alchemy. I hope it doesn't get completely thrown to the wayside, but it's it's not
What you would think.
that popular of a Pokemon from what
Yeah.
I've seen.
That, and also
So-
just like what kind of Pokemon it is. It doesn't like automatically like go well with that kind of game, I feel. It's not who you would think
Yeah.
of initially.
No,
Or even
it's
secondly.
like I've been begging for Poliwrath for Pokken or Pokken 2 whenever Pokken 2 gets announced.
And it's never
Poliwrath
getting
Sadly.
announced. No, but
Wait, did I say Poliwhirl? I meant Poliwrath.
I think you said Poliwrath.
Okay.
Yeah, after that we got TCG Pocket, which was the only side game they talked about that people actually play. Sorry, Crimson. But yeah, we're gonna have a new expansion like set tomorrow or today as the time of this podcast comes out. Which didn't we just get one?
Yeah.
I felt like the first one lasted so long, and then it took forever to get a second one, and now it's just getting replaced.
Well, this will be the 4th one now.
Oh, I've been out of the loop. There wasn't one that I missed, apparently. But, like, I literally just started opening this last one, because I was like, I need to get back into TCG Pocket. Started opening. New expansion. Oh, come on. So that's sad.
Yeah, I've got it right here. Or October 30th is when we got Genetic Apex.
Mm-hmm.
And then December 17th, Mythical Island. Then January 30th, Spacetime Smackdown. And yeah, they only gave us a month with Spacetime Smackdown before they're giving us Triumphant Light.
Yeah.
Actually, well, between like October 30th to December 17th, that's still like 6 weeks. And then what, another 6 weeks between Mythical Island and Spacetime? That's still like another 2 weeks that it would have been nice to have had another 2 weeks with Spacetime Smackdown.
Oh, definitely.
Especially when Spacetime Smackdown has not been kind to you, boy, and I'm having the worst time getting any good pulls.
Oh, same here.
So great. I'll eventually go back to that set and try opening it when I have whatever cards I need from Triumphant Light, I guess. You know what card that I have not pulled, of all the cards to have not pulled somehow?
The Swinub or whatever it's called, the Mamoswine.
Swinub. I've gotten Piloswine, I've gotten Mamoswine, I've gotten the full art Mamo. Have not gotten regular
Just the
plain
common Swinub?
Just the common Swinub.
Oh.
It does not exist to me.
Oh.
Like they won't let me have my baby.
Keep an eye on those Wonder Picks. That's where I get like all the commons that I'm missing.
Yeah, after TCG Pocket, they talked about the TCG and how Mega Pokemon cards are back.
Very happy about that.
I remember back in my youth when we had Mega Cons and when people would trade them. Those were good times.
Ooh, actually, I want to... Oh, they've changed it a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
If it's like Mega, if a Mega Pokemon's knocked out, you get 3 prize cards.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So that will be interesting because 3 prize cards is half a game. But when we had tag team cards for Sun and Moon, tag team was also 3 prize cards.
Tag team.
But these Megas, I believe, they have to come like all the way from the base form, I think, because of the new EX.
Yeah.
For old Megas,
so
you just
have
had...
to use...
Yeah. So they should be more difficult to set up.
Gardevoir.
Like, Gardevoir will have to come from Ralts all the way to Mega Gardevoir, from what I understand. Whereas before, it was just...
Yeah, go Ralts, then Carlia.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to see Pokemon like Kangaskhan and Audino and no, not Aerodactyl. Sableye.
Yeah, the
and Absol.
Base stage Megas. I mean, yeah, we'll see how they do it. Hopefully everything gets bounced fine and the game stays fun.
Yeah.
Here's hoping.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about Mewtwo. Oh, Mewtwo's gonna be wild.
After that, we got the exciting developments with Scarlet and Violet, where you can get a case for your Rotom phone, which, on another note, Pokemon really needs to get off their, like, Rotom phone obsession. Addiction. Like, it's not that cool. It's not that cool.
I think it is.
Pokemon, get off your Rotom phone. You've been on TikTok for 3 hours straight.
Pokemon screen time.
Like, we had... It was... Rotom Pokedex was fine for one region, but then they changed it to the Rotom phone, and it felt a lot more gimmicky in Gen
I feel
8.
like... I'm surprised to hear that, because I feel like most people feel kind of opposite.
And then Legends Arceus, we had the Arceus phone, and I was like, this is just stupid.
Well,
yeah,
I think
I
it's
wish
just
they did something different for Legends Arceus, but...
Yeah, sending your kid back in time with a mobile phone to God.
And then there was Gen 9, which, Did Gen 9 have the Rotom phone? I honestly don't remember.
That's what we just...
That's Scarlet and Violet.
We got here.
Oh, I'm an idiot. Yeah, they need to get off their Rotom phone addiction. It's getting out of hand.
I just remember for Sun and Moon, there were like so many angry fans online complaining about how often the Pokédex talks to you.
Oh,
like,
I mean,
I don't want my Pokédex talking to me.
That was a little annoying. I will agree.
People actually paid attention to their bottom screen?
People actually paid attention to their bottom? Wow, what a nice couple.
Anyways,
we've got 2 minutes. We need to cover champions in 2 minutes.
Wait, we only have 2 minutes?
I gotta go at 45.
Me and Ethan can keep talking. I got stuff to say.
Okay.
If you're fine with Tom.
I don't really care much about champions. I'm not that big into the competitive scene.
Okay,
hopefully
I think it's
for those
cool.
Who are, it will be fun.
Yeah.
I have high hopes for it. I hope it ends up being really good, but we'll just have to see. Especially since it won't be national decks, it'll be their own decks.
Yeah.
Format.
With Mega versus
so
Gigantamax or whatever.
I don't think we saw Gigantamax.
Oh,
no,
no,
we did see Terra.
But most
Terra,
likely
yeah,
it'll be
Terra Steel.
Gigantamax. Like, if there's Terrestrialization and Mega Evolution, I wouldn't be surprised if there's Dynamax and Gigantamax and Z moves. Like, they could not have it, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But it will be weird having those two on the same plane. It also will be like a different meta than any other game, but...
I mean, yeah, but we already have Mega and Terrestrialization in the same game. And we've never had that.
Nope.
But that's what I mean,
That'll
like,
be
it's gonna be very different, which is weird.
Oh, yeah. I don't know, we can finally have the thing with, like, Ash in the anime, where he had the Z ring, the Mega ring, and all of those all at once. We can finally be like him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, other things with Scarlet and Violet, which everyone's gonna care about, there are mass outbreaks of red, green, and blue colored Pokemon. Okay.
Gasp.
For those
Kinda
shiny
cool, I
hunters,
guess.
that will be fun.
Yeah. I might do a little shiny hunting.
We got
We'll see.
we got upcoming Terra Raid battle events. Which, it was funny, they called them the Mighty Meowscarada, Skeleturge, and Quaquaval, but because we just talked about Megas with the TCG cards, and it starts with M, I thought it said Mega Meowscarada, Skeleturge, and Quaquaval, and I was like, what? Oh.
Damn.
That'd be crazy.
That would be.
Dude, I was freaking out, and then I saw, oh, Mighty. Never mind. Like, I thought they just casually went, oh yeah, Mega Paldean starters. Anyways, and I was like, huh? And I think there was one other thing. Oh, look for other Pokemon with the mightiest mark. Okay, so it's just more. But yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you have to go, Tom?
I have to go. Do you want to continue with Eevee?
Yeah.
I think.
I have
we-
more
we
things
really
to say.
have Okay.
Mainly because
Okay,
we
well-
need to talk about champions and.
This is my farewell. I don't have many
Latin
opinions on
American.
champions. I'm not that into the competitive scene, so that's all. See ya, and bye-bye. Have fun, you two.
Bye, Tom.
But I guess we can round off with
I've
champions
gotta
and
say-
CA. But
I've got to say the line.
you do.
Now
Oh.
that he's gone.
You do.
Join my Discord. Join Night Talk. We
Yeah.
have fun.
We're doing so many shame. This has been a weird episode. It's simultaneously like one of the best and one of the worst.
Yep.
But yeah, we have one announcement that's another smaller one, so we'll get it out of the way now. We have Latin American Spanish being added to the
Which-
Pokemon mainline games.
Guz and I are very excited for that because Guz was so disappointed when it was Spain Spanish, and I personally want to learn more Spanish, but you boys been really lazy, and I don't want to learn Spain Spanish because I don't. It's one less conjugation I have to do
I did.
when conjugating verbs.
I did see some people complaining about Latin Spanish.
Well, they can kiss my asshole.
Like, I literally saw Latin Spanish is unnecessary.
Latin Spanish is a very different from Spain Spanish. Not well, okay,
Well,
quite different, not very different.
well, okay. I'll change what I said. Not many people like complain. I saw one person complain, and then everyone else went, "No, what do you mean?" So this is not a popular consensus, at least from what I've seen. But
Okay.
I did see someone say it, and I was like, "What? Why are you mad about more options?
Yeah.
Like, it's not taking away anything."
Me when people are confused about bisexuals.
I guess.
More options. Why are you upset that I have more options than you?
Yes. But yeah, Latin American. I'm happy. Latin American Spanish. Not just Latin American. That's exciting for people who, you know, speak that language
Who
and
speak
like
it
Pokemon.
or want to learn to speak it.
Yeah. But yeah, then we got the Pokemon Champions announcement, which I also just want to say, I called that we were going to get a new spin-off announcement. I know basically everyone else was calling that, but I called it. I was like, the one thing I'm betting from this is we're getting a new spin-off, and hey, that was the main thing we got this direct. So I'll take it.
Hell yeah.
No, I did not guess that it was gonna be what we got.
No. I don't think anyone was expecting what we got. Like,
Nope.
Like, to get a essentially, like, something close to a battle sim is gonna be wild.
Oh, definitely. Like, nuts. And even though I'm not, like, too into the battle scene of Pokemon, I know a lot of people are, so that's really exciting. I mean, there's a reason why Showdown has such a big audience.
Yeah.
And, like, it was funny, the first promotional art we saw of Champions, I got so excited, because, it reminded me a little bit of, like, Pokken. And so I was like, oh my god, is this gonna be made by Bandai Namco? Did we call it? Nope, it's being made partially by frickin' Ilka. Partially Ilka,
Wow.
partially, what's... Game Freak. That's what Game Freak's called, right? I forgot Game Freak's name for a second. But yeah, that...
Wow.
I know. Okay, right.
Wait, I'm seeing that it's being made by the Pokemon Works.
Yeah, Pokemon Works is a subsidiary of Ilka. Sort of.
Okay. Oh.
It's located in the same
Yeah,
building
got
as
that.
Ilka. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's, like, from my understanding, it's basically just like a subsidiary of Ilka that is surrounded around entirely making Pokemon stuff.
Okay.
Which... They've done great work, but, like, if you've seen the promotional art, can you blame me for thinking it was Bandai Namco? Like...
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Like, that looks good. It does not look... The only thing is, the protagonist designs got, like, released. And they also look terrible, in my opinion. Did you see them, Evie?
I
They're-
only see them from this one image.
They're less
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, they're less important than they are in ZA, so I don't mind as much, but oh my god, they are colors. They are colors barfed onto a canvas. That's what they look like.
Like,
They are the
Yeah,
they are the
this
infamous
one's like-
rainbow people I have heard of.
what do you mean? I'm right here. I don't know why I'm in such a, like, gotta make the buy jokes tonight, but yeah, what do you mean? Rainbow people, I'm right here.
I mean, I was basically insinuating it, so I mean... No, there was another joke I was gonna make this podcast episode, but then I went, nah, too far.
Ugh.
We've gone further in this podcast. It's more just there wasn't a good opportunity for it. And, I mean, you kind of brought it up in your stream.
Okay, if I said it in my stream, then I'm not gonna. I can't say anything.
No. It's about, like, sort of sexism in the community. Mainly when it comes to, like, the...
yeah.
I didn't like the female protagonist design. I'll just say the joke now. I've set it up enough that I feel like it'd be weird if I didn't say it.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like, no, I do not dislike the female protagonist design because she's wearing pants. No, Andrew Tate hasn't gotten to me yet. Because I know some people are, like, happy that we have a female Pokemon protagonist that has pants, even though... And not wearing a skirt, even though the Paldean, like, female protagonist also isn't wearing a skirt. And also, I think Crystal doesn't wear a skirt.
I don't think so. Hold on.
Yeah, no, she wears
images
shorts.
Are slowly loading.
It may be the first, like,
And so
pants
does
wearer.
Hilda.
Does Hilda wear pants?
Hilda and Celine.
Hilda doesn't wear pants.
Hilda. Yeah, Hilda's got short shorts. Celine has short shorts.
Crystal wears athletic shorts.
Yeah.
So I guess this is the first pants. I don't know, I'm not huge in the women community. Is there a big, like, distinction between, like, oh my god, women are wearing pants versus shorts as like a big deal.
Not that I'm immediately aware of.
Okay. Because, I mean, it's not like, female Pokemon characters have always been the most effeminate. So I don't see why it's, like, a huge deal, but I'm happy that people are happy for it.
Yeah.
I wish I could understand why they're happy for it, but I'm glad they're happy for it.
Yeah, I don't know.
And also, even though, like, now I'm just going, like, Spitfire, because there are lots of opinions I haven't, like, said. ZA has left me with a mixture of emotions. It's like, I don't think visually it looks good, but also, I think some people are a little extreme in their reactions to the visuals of it.
No.
Like, I think it looks bad. I just don't think it looks as bad as Scarlet and Violet. Though, again, that's not a high bar.
No. Not necessarily, no.
Like, it doesn't look good. In fact, I'd say it looks... But, I mean... we've had worse.
Yeah.
Especially, like... the Pokemon, I honestly kind of prefer... I know this is a hot take. I prefer how the Pokemon looked in Scarlet and Violet. Because in the screenshots we've had in Legends EA, they look so flat. Like, I don't know if...
I need to go back and look.
I don't know if, like, that's a hot take. I think it is. Because I've seen lots of people be like, ooh, we have more cartoonish Pokemon back. And I'm like, yeah, but the shading just makes them look kind of flat. And lifeless. Like, I don't know.
Hold on, my internet's being a little slow, trying to show... I'm trying to get to that point in the presentation to look at them to fully be able to agree or disagree.
I also sent an image in Discord.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, especially thinking about, like, Seviper in Scarlet and Violet, where everyone was absolutely going wild over the fact that we've got, like, we can see the individual scales on Seviper.
They had textures, man.
Yeah.
I can't believe we've gotten to the point that we're now praising Scarlet and Violet. Like, any part of it. Like, what have we become as a community?
Yeah. But I think some, like... I think they're gonna roll back some of the textures just a little bit.
Probably.
Because I think they got... I hope that they heard the feedback when it comes to, like, accessibility. When it comes to shiny Pokemon. Because, apparently you boys missed several shiny Pokemon on stream.
Oh.
Because A, there's no, like, shiny sound effect. And, as I've mentioned before tonight, I'm colorblind.
Yeah.
And some of those textures, I explicitly remember a Magnemite that I did not see. That someone in chat was like, no, you missed it, it was right there. They got a screenshot from the stream and they're like, this is it. And I'm like, that's shiny? And then, like, zoom in, enhance, blah, blah, blah. Oh, yep, that Magnemite was So I hope some of that is like if they're rolling back some of the textures a little bit, hopefully that's for accessibility purposes.
Maybe. I think they rolled back too much though, because they all just look kinda flat.
Yeah. They do look a little bit flatter, but I don't know if I'd say completely flat.
Yeah, well, especially like in the style that they're going for in ZA, which sadly is the same style as Scarlet and Violet. Which we can now see this is more a realized version of what they were going for in Scarlet and Violet, and now I think it's just not a great visual aesthetic. I mean, it looks better. I still think conceptually it's not the best. Personally.
We'll see how it turns out.
I guess. No, there's just
Some of that might be they have to tone it down a little bit for the sake of like, oh, what is it? Because of the Switch hardware and what, like, how much
Yeah.
it can handle.
well, but the thing
Because
is,
the battles are going to be so dynamic
yeah.
that it's going to take up more processing power.
The thing is, they toned down on the, like, Pokemon, but then not the environments, which make them look really out of place. Like, the environments and people look very Scarlet and Violet-esque, where, like, the Pokemon look almost Sword and Shield-esque.
I kind of see what you're getting at.
Yeah.
I got to the end of the trailer when it tells us coming late 2025.
Oh yeah, I
Reminds me
told
of
y'all. I
Breath of
told
Breath.
y'all it wasn't gonna be July.
I'm just saying that there was I've always been saying there is the possibility, and I am not ready for that possibility to be a reality.
Everybody was saying, no, it has to release in July. And I was like, no, they can't do a whole freaking marketing push in 4 months. Well, 5 months. Basically 4 months at this point. Like, there's just no way. And also, there are still so many people that are like, it has to be a Switch 2 launch title. And I'm like, oh my god. These people.
Yeah, we don't even have the Switch 2 release date yet, friend.
It's gonna be released this year, but
Thankfully.
like, again, if we look at the history of Pokemon, they are always late to the party.
Oh yeah.
Already drunk, too.
Like, actually, when did... Let's see. The Switch came out...
2017?
The Switch came out March 3rd, 2017. Pokemon LGPE...
November
came
2018.
out. So, yeah, at least a year.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, this has been in development for so long that, like... Yeah. Also, it being in longer development, I don't think it's entirely to get higher quality, mainly because the quality... Well, I guess only 1 more year of development is not going to make that big of a difference in quality, but mainly from what I've heard, looking on the internet, mostly why it got delayed, because I've heard it got delayed. I don't know if that's right or not. But mainly, mainly I'm saying this because it makes sense, and I think, like, I wouldn't just say this as, like, random internet bullshit, and be like, I think this is true. I just think, like, it's a fair assumption to make that it got delayed due to the Terra leak.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Mainly because the company was dealing with other things, and, like, making themselves structurally sound, figuring out where they're gonna go from there, and, like, all of that.
Yeah, that's kind of more... That's more important precedent.
Yeah. Which... So I think it's more that is why it's coming out so late and we didn't have a game last year, more so than, like... Like, I think it would have come out early this year, or summer this year. And they would have just started marketing it early, but due to the Terra leak. Well... I could be wrong.
That's definitely possible.
It's still speculation, but I think it's a very, like, fair assumption to make.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, another thing we talked about in your stream, Ethy. The Champions logo.
Oh, we don't have to talk about that. We don't have to talk about how that P looks so out of place.
Oh, the P in the Champions logo, if you haven't seen it. It's a completely different font and color, and it just... And also, like, the
Like,
yellow,
I
back...
kind of get what they're going for, but it clashes real bad with the yellow, and this is the colorblind guy saying it.
Hey, there's that. And also, there are so many different yellows. We have the yellow in the Pokemon text, we have the yellow background, we have the yellow outline around the text. Where it makes it all kind of run together. And it's just like,
Like, I see the vision.
Oh, I see the
understand
vision.
Where they're like, I see what they were going for,
Oh, I think they failed, though.
but they fell just a little short.
A little, yeah. Which also, I went on to, like, the Japanese, freaking, oh, what's it called? The Japanese website to see, like, if their logo looked any better. Like, Japanese logos used to be different from English. All I'm seeing are the English logos on the Japanese website. Like, even for ZA.
Like, ZA's logo. ZA has a different logo.
Does it? On the website, it's the English one.
Or, oh, nope. Not in Japanese, but in Chinese, French, German, Italian, and Spanish. They have different logos. So in German, instead of Legends, Pokemon Legends, it's Pokemon Legenden, which makes sense. Because...
Wait. Why did I not see this? Okay. So first of all, I just saw something that, Ethan, you know Yoasobi, right? Yoasobi? I don't know how you say that. The people who made Idol? That song?
No?
You know what Idol is, though?
Idol...
From Oshinoko. The song.
Oh! Yeah, okay.
So, the
It's like
people...
there's a lot of... When I think of Idol, there's a lot of things going through my mind, so you...
So,
Okay.
the people who made that song in 2023 made a song for Scarlet and Violet? It looks like. But the Biribiri? Which also, I mean, if we have nothing else Pokemon related, we can talk about how we've been watching Oshinoko.
Yeah. I mean, I need to get ready for my stream.
Oh, your stream is
So-
coming up.
Yeah. So, since everyone knows when this episode was recorded, it's not gonna be a surprise that tonight's the stream that I'm what am I doing again?
Assigning Pokemon as extra
Assigning
Y-shaped?
Kanto Pokemon. Yes. There was this post on Twitter that was like every Pokemon, how have people not noticed that every Pokemon that's ever been released is either X-shaped or Y-shaped?
Huh.
And then some people even made the joke of like, yeah, and all Alolan Pokemon are shaped like either a sun or a moon.
Huh.
And it just snowballed from there. It's been a wild ride watching people watching people meme with it. Here we go. It's been over 15 years and Pokemon fans and Fakemon artists have yet to catch on that pretty much all Mega Pokemon up to this point have been shaped like an X or a Y. Will this continue to go unnoticed when new Mega Pokemon start becoming Z-shaped? Stay tuned. And then some people just started running with it, like every Kanto Pokemon is shaped like red or green. Or, like I said, every Sun and Moon Pokemon is shaped like a sun or a moon.
Yeah.
Like, I think...
Sword and Shield
let's see,
being
the
Sword and
example-
Shield.
Let's see, the examples they gave were, let's see, of the regional variants, Rattata is a moon, Raticate is a sun, Raichu is a moon, Exeggutor is a moon, Golem is a moon, Graveler and Geodude are sun. I'll send you the thing.
Okay. But yeah, basically, to tell a long story short, for, like, Oshinoko, me, Ethan Crimson, and a bunch of people have just been, like, watching, Oshinoko over an EP server every Sunday? Yeah, Sunday.
Every Sunday.
And we're watching Season 2 at the moment, because everyone's already seen Season 1. And yeah, we've been enjoying it. I'd say it's probably my favorite anime of the decade. Ethan, I think, hasn't decided. Because that's a big title to give anything.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So we'll see. We're only halfway through the decade.
True. But, like, so far, it's probably... It's hit that mark for me so far.
It's definitely up there.
Yeah. But yeah, we should probably end the episode. We've recorded for almost 2 hours now.
Yeah.
Even though there's more I want to talk about.
Part 2 next week.
Part 2. And hopefully I don't get canceled for this video.
One way to find out.
True. I apologize in advance if I said anything.
You did. You've said a lot of words. Who knows?
Alright, so yeah, we will see you next week. We'll probably still be talking about this stuff, and hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
And hopefully ZA turns out good. I don't want it to be bad.
I think it'll be good. I think it'll be better than you're expecting.
I'm hoping. I'm just gonna set my expectations low, though, because I don't wanna...
Fair.
Don't want to be burned. I don't want to be like, oh, this is gonna be great, and then I play it, and I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? To put it lightly. So yeah, we'll see you next week. We'll see if my opinion has changed at all, because this is also my day 1 reaction. Things can change.
Yeah.
Opinions are not static.
Nope.
So you know, check in next week to see if I've had any character development. No other episode will make sense unless you see next week. Alright, see you then.
Bye.